to the Fandom.net's vlog for today. We are going to be talking about books now, and basically a couple of book events that's going to happen during, like, in the near future. So let's move on to like what we're going to review first of all.
I recently read Haunting the Deep. That comes out October 3rd, and it's by Adriana Mather. Now this one's a follow-up to her first book, How to Hang a Witch. The Titanic meets the delicious horror of Ransom Riggs and the sass of Mean Girls in this follow-up to the #1 New York Times bestseller, How to Hang a Witch, in which a contemporary teen finds herself a passenger on the famous Ship of Dreams, a story made all the more fascinating because the author's own relatives survived the doomed voyage. Samantha Mather knew her family's connection to the infamous Salem witch trials might pose obstacles to an active social life, but having survived one curse, she never thought she'd find herself at the center of a new one. This time, Sam is having recurring dreams about the Titanic, where she's been walking the deck with first-class passengers like her aunt and uncle. Meanwhile, in Sam's waking life, strange missives from the Titanic have been finding their way to her, along with the haunting visions of people who went down with the ship. Ultimately, Sam and the descendants, along with some help from heartthrob Elijah, must unravel who is behind the spell that is drawing her ever further into the dream ship and closer to sharing the same grim fate as the ghostly passengers. So it's a pretty good book. I enjoyed it. It's kind of a mystery, supernatural, ghost type story that it's pretty good, and it's pretty awesome that this author's own ancestors survived the Titanic, as well as were a big part of the Salem witch trials.
I read recently Wild Bird by Wendelin Van Drenen. If you remember, she was the one who wrote the book Flipped, I believe it was called, and that one was turned into a movie. And it was a cute little movie. It's more, Wild Bird is kind of like for the younger, young adult age group, maybe around 11 to 14 type of thing. 3:47 a.m. That's when they come for Ren Clemens. She's hustled out of her house and into a waiting car, then a plane, and then taken into a forced march into the desert. This is what happens to kids who've gone so far off the rails their parents don't know what to do with them. This is wilderness therapy camp. The Wren who arrives in the Utah desert is angry and bitter and blaming everyone but herself. But angry can't put up a tent, and bitter won't start a fire. Wren's going to have to admit she needs help if she's going to survive. In her most incisive and insightful book yet, beloved an author, Wendelin Van Drenen offers a remarkable portrait of a girl who took a wrong turn and got lost, but may be able to find her way back in the vast, harsh desert. When I read this, I know it was like more for a younger crowd, but I actually really enjoyed it a lot more than some of the ones that are geared towards 14 to 17-year-olds. I think maybe because this age group and the character Ren is going through a time in her life that a lot of people go through at that age, is like this awkward transition. Her parents move, they move them from one area to another, and when you're comfortable from where you've gone, where you have been, and then you move into a very strange area. Sometimes the adjusting doesn't work really well as other times, and so instead of trying to change, she changes, but she becomes angry at everything, and it's just a matter of trying to find out why and how to make herself better out of it, and how the group and the therapy camp actually work. And if you are one of those people who are no, it's silly to bring, to send your kids off somewhere, some kind of boot camp or some kind of therapy camp because, they're acting up and stuff. I mean, seriously, this girl has some issues and I can see why the parents would do that because sometimes parents don't know what to do when their kids just go a little nuts. But and of course she's angry about that too, and it comes off, and what's really cool is that you can actually relate to her because when I was her age too, I had a moment of transition when I moved from LA to to where I'm at now. And basically, it's just one of those things that you try and learn to cope with and stuff, but sometimes you just meet the wrong people. And so I really enjoyed reading what Ren was going through. There was not a point in there that I thought, she was being like too annoying and everything. She's basically just, she's a teen. She's a teen going through teen issues. And what I really enjoyed is that I actually liked the book even without any romance in it. So if you're like one of those who are like, all right, enough with the romance, this is probably a good one for you to read too. Because there's really nothing in there that screams romance. I mean, as much as I love romance, sometimes you need to take a break from it. So this is a really good one. It makes me feel like I want to read the rest of her books too. So that's always a plus for that one. And this one actually already came out. If you have seen it, I definitely recommend taking a look and reading it. And so those are the books that we have to review. And then we have a couple of events coming up.
John Green's going on tour for his new book, Turtles All the Way Down. Right.
Oh yeah, Turtles All the Way Down.
So he's going to be in he's going to a lot of cities. Check out his schedule, see if there's any available near you.
Let me just look it out actually. So Turtles All the Way Down, John is going to be hitting a lot of the major cities. Unfortunately, if you haven't gotten in by now, a lot of the places are sold out, and his brother will be joining him, Hank Green. I don't know if he's going to be joining him on all of them, but yeah, it's already sold out in New York and Washington D.C. and Charlotte, North Carolina, Asheville, Georgia, Florida, Orlando, Florida. You might get a chance in Nashville, Tennessee if you go over there. Cincinnati is sold out, Indianapolis, I don't know. November 2nd is actually the last one that he's hitting in LA, and
I think they still have some available there.
So if you want, go ahead and try LA. John Green, and he'll be there, and the ticket does include the signing as well, and of course some music, I guess, and some talk between him and Hank. So that'll be really fun because I've never met him. I'm really excited. Yeah. So another big event that comes in November for books is Yallfest. Yallfest happens November 10th and the 11th, and that's in Charleston. Charleston, South Carolina. So if you're in the area, or if you can afford to go to the area, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you like young adult books. There are a whole slew of authors, young adult authors, both super popular and up and comers that are going to be there, and they just basically go there, make some panels, do some speeches. A lot of them are keynote speakers, and they'll sign books, like a lot of books. A few of those authors that are keynote speakers are going to be Cassandra Clare, Angie Thomas of The Hate You Give, which is being currently turned into a movie, and Becky Albertalli, whose book is also being turned into a movie. Her book being Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. Marissa Meyer, Jason Segel, and Kirsten Miller are going to be keynote speakers as well, and I believe Patrick Ness. There might be a few others there that I'm missing, but there's some really good authors there that we've met before, and they're really awesome. They're really sweet authors, and so if you get a chance to go, I would definitely recommend it. A lot of people bring all their books there for them to sign, so make it a whole day. If you can go on Friday, that's also a good day. Friday is more like a kind of like a get to meet them, or
Yeah.
not a full day.
No, but it's in the evening usually, and I think if it's a good chance to get your book signed if you want to get it signed, because it's usually busy on the Saturday.
A few other authors that are going to be there are Lauren Oliver, Renee Ahdia, Saba Tahir, Veronica Roth,
Victoria Aveyard, Lee Bardugo, Holly Black, Alexandra Bracken.
who is also has a movie
She's coming out. Her books being made into a movie too.
Exactly. Liba Bray,
Cora Carmack,
who
she recently came out with a YA, Roar.
and a sequel is coming out for it called Rage. So that, if you're familiar with her, you might be familiar with her new adult books too, which are really fun to read as well. So yeah, a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch more authors coming out, and we aren't going to be there, but we will have some people there for representing the fandom, and it's going to just be a lot of fun. And you don't care about us anyway; you're there for the authors, and so we just recommend that you go to that or book events. And that's about it. I think we are done for the day.